Hamas has claimed it has completed the first phase of its ceasefire with Israel, while the second phase and Gaza's future remain unresolved. Official Osama Hamdan called the deal a preliminary agreement and warned that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's Greater Israel vision threatens regional stability. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said work on a provisional constitution and election laws is almost done, with polls planned once the conflict ends. Since the truce began on October the 10th, some progress has been made on hostage remains and suspending major Israeli operations. The Red Cross facilitated the return of 300 Palestinian and 23 Israeli bodies. Hamas has called for international support for Gaza's education system, urging countries and organizations to help students, schools and universities continue their studies amidst the ongoing conflict. In a Telegram post, the group praised recent high school graduates for achieving excellence despite the harsh and horrific conditions of the war, describing education as central to the Palestinian struggle for freedom and a brighter future. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he will not request a pardon in his ongoing corruption trial if it implies admitting guilt, describing the proceedings as ridiculous and emphasizing his focus on national and regional issues. In an interview, Netanyahu criticized the trial for harming both Israeli and U.S. interests, noting that he spends 3 days in a week in a court while managing national security and peace initiatives. Facing bribery, fraud and breach of trust charges across 3 separate cases, he insisted he would not formally seek a pardon under any condition suggesting guilt. He also commented on U.S. political figures asserting openness to dialogue if they improve their knowledge on key issues. Turkey has called on the planned International Stabilization Force, the ISF, in Gaza to provide last guarantees for the fragile ceasefire. Speaking in Ankara, officials also stressed that the US-led Civil Military Coordination Center must ensure unhindered humanitarian aid deliveries in line with international law. Turkey, a vocal critique of Israel's actions in Gaza, has expressed interest in joining the ISF despite Israel's objections. The force, proposed under a UN draft resolution, would secure Gaza, protect civilians, aid deliveries, and support a Palestinian police force. The Palestinian Ministry of Awqaf and Religious Affairs has condemned what it called a heinous crime after settlers set fire to parts of El Hajj Hamdan Mosque, located between Kafi Haris and Deir Istiya in the occupied West Bank and defaced with its racist graffiti. The Palestinian Ministry of Awqaf and Religious Affairs condemned the arson attack on El Hajj in the mosque at the West Bank, calling it barbarism deriving by Israeli racist incitement and a blatant assault on Muslims. It warned that no place of worship is safe amidst ongoing shelter and Israeli forces attacks, which it said violate international laws protecting freedom of worship. The ministry urged Islamic and Arab countries, as well as the organizations of Islamic cooperation, to act to stop such violations. The Ministry of Health in the Gaza Strip announced that the death toll from the Israeli genocide has risen to 69,187, with 107,703 others injured. The ministry stated that hospitals in Gaza received 2 martyrs over the past 24 hours, 1 recovered from under the rubble and another newly killed, in addition to 5 wounded Palestinians, without specifying the circumstances of the deaths. or how the injuries took place. The UNRWA reported that more than 282,000 homes in the Gaza Strip have been destroyed or damaged, leaving large numbers of residents displaced and without safe shelter. In a post on the platform X, the agency said that thousands of families are currently living amidst the rubble in the tents that lack adequate space, privacy and basic services as the approaching winter season worsens their humanitarian suffering. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam said that reform is first a national priority and not just an international obligation, noting the government's progress on key measures including the financial gap bill. Salam met with French President Macron's political advisor, highlighting Lebanon's ongoing efforts to strengthen financial controls and finalize legislation to be sent to parliament. Legendre reaffirmed France's support for Lebanon's reforms and negotiations with the International Monetary Fund. The meeting also addressed security in southern Lebanon amidst Israeli attacks, with both sides stressing the importance of regional stability and close Lebanese-French coordination. The Israeli occupation army has launched airstrikes early today on several areas in southern Lebanon, mainly targeting the valley and the Tyre district. The strikes damaged several resorts and blockade parts of the Latanya River. According to the National News Agency, another strike hit the town of Beit Jibilia district, specifically in the Kanouk area. Lebanon's National Latanya River Authority began on-site inspections to clear the river and prevent flooding that could endanger nearby communities and farmland. The attacks come despite a ceasefire deal that took effect on November the 27th, with Israel accused of over 4,500 violations since then. Lebanese Foreign Minister Youssef Raji stressed the importance of halting Israeli attacks and the immediate withdrawal from southern Lebanon. During his meeting with the French president's advisor, the Lebanese Foreign Minister reaffirmed the Lebanese government commitment to the decision of limiting weapons to its own hands and withdrawing them from Hezbollah. Syrian Foreign Minister Assad Shibani announced the reopening of Syria's embassy in London, marking a return to international diplomacy after years of isolation. During his official visit to the United Kingdom, Shibani raised the Syrian flag at the embassy and met with members of the Syrian community in London. He described the reopening as a restoration of Syria's global presence with its free identity, emphasizing the end of years of diplomatic isolation imposed under the Assad regime. A coalition led by Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani came first in the parliamentary election. The Independent High Electoral Commission reported a 56.11% turnout and said the preliminary results covered 99.74% of votes. In Baghdad, the Reconstruction and Development Coalition received 411,026 votes, followed by Takadam Progress Party with 284,109 votes. No single party can form a government in Iraq's 329-seat parliament, meaning coalition building will be key in deciding the next prime minister. Iran has opened the missile exhibition in Tehran to mark Aerospace Week. The display at the IRGC Aerospace Force Museum featured missiles, drones, and other military equipment. General Bilali, overseeing the exhibition, said the missiles are essential in all areas of ground-to-ground warfare.